if I told you.
What if I told
you? If I had told you going out the door yesterday, Nikola Jokic would have one shot attempt in the first quarter, 3 shots attempted through the first half, and 5 shots through the first 3 quarters. If I had told you that that would be the case in game 1, and it was, and I'd give you 2 choices, that though just knowing that alone, it would mean A, the Miami Heat were going to win a 4th consecutive game 1 in these playoffs. That is their MO. They come into your town and hit you in the mouth. They take their A seed and slap you across the face with it. They did it to Milwaukee. They did it to New York. They did it to Boston. And with Denver having a 9-day layoff after dispatching the Lakers, and the Heat coming off of an intense Game 7 against Boston that nobody saw coming because they went up 3-0 and hit Boston in the mouth 3 consecutive times. If I told you that the Heat would win Game 1 based on the fact that Jokic had 1 shot through the first quarter, 3 shots through the first half, and 5 through the first 3 quarters, or the other option is that Jokic would do that and have a triple-double anyway and wind up as the leading scorer of the entire game that also featured not 1 but 2 players with 26-point nights. Had I given you that choice, it would have been a toss-up, right?
Yeah,
I think
sure.
if this was yesterday, going into game 1, it would have been a toss-up. And I'm sure that's why Nuggets fans get upset with national media types who overlook the greatness of the Denver Nuggets and focus on the opponents like Giannis and the Bucks and the Knicks. Oh, look what the Knicks are doing. Oh, the Celtics. They're going back to the finals again because of how good the Heat is. But the Denver Nuggets just had no problem with the Heat last night. Now, yeah, the back door was open for you gamblers towards the end of that game.
We were Denver till we die, Rich.
And the Heat made it a 10-point game with 4 minutes to go. But that's when Jokic made an 8-foot floater in the lane and then an 8-foot jumper fading away to wrap it up on his way to a triple-double, joining Jason Kidd as the only humans in the history of the association to triple-double in their first ever game in the NBA Finals.
Is that good?
And it was the 7th triple-double of the playoffs for Jokic, who is now averaging a triple-double throughout these postseason.
Wow.
That has the Nuggets 3 wins away from winning the NBA Finals. And how good are the Nuggets? Go ahead.
How good are they?
Well, hold on. The Nuggets are so good.
How good
thank you.
are they?
Yeah, okay. I would say with more feeling, but I think we've made the point. Okay, that Jokic just 1 shot in the first quarter, and it came with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. He had 6 assists in that first quarter. And it was Aaron Gordon that took care of the first quarter because there were matchup problems that the Heat had on him. Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute. It's the Nuggets that could create matchup problems outside of their 2-man game with Jokic and Jamal Murray, who, by the way, was the one on the Nuggets who had a 26-point night. And Gordon went 6 of 8 in the first quarter, 12 points first quarter. Okay, so Jokic has only 1 shot with 30 seconds left. I got this in scoring. He's filling it up.
He didn't need to shoot.
And Jamal Murray, while Jokic took just 3 shots in the first half, he had 18 of his 26. He wound up 4 rebounds shy of a triple-double himself. He was 26, 10, and 6 in 44 minutes last night, while Jokic went 27, 14, and 10. And by the way, the 14 assists by the Joker, the most assists in a first NBA Finals by anybody.
Anybody ever.
Yeah. So when you're throwing in like Magic, keep going. The greatest point guards, the greatest ball distributors in the history of this incredible
John Stockton
association. It will be a center who has the record for most assists in an NBA Finals debut.
That's crazy.
14 of them. And here's one last one for you. Jokic and Murray become the third set of teammates to have 20 or more points and 10 or more assists in the same NBA Finals game. The other two are Magic and Worthy and Jordan and Pippen. And now it's Jokic and Murray joining that mix. And that's just first NBA Finals. We're talking about any NBA Finals game, period. End of story. That's how good the Nuggets are. Because I didn't mention Porter Jr. or KCP or their bench or their coach. So they just blew the doors off the Heat, who just didn't look at all like the team that comes in and puffs their chest out and shows you just their gumption or their defense and how Spoelstra can switch it up and confuse you. I mean, it did become a tight game-ish in the fourth quarter.
Were you ever worried?
Not really.
And I don't want to be this guy. It's Friday. It's not Monday. But does it feel like it's over already?
Well, obviously it feels that way because of how dominant the Nuggets looked. Here are the good, if you want to have a silver lining, because you got to hang your hat on something, because the next game's Sunday. So we got 2 games to think about it.
Yeah.
2 things. One, Adebayo was terrific.
He did.
26 points, 13 of 25 shooting. And so he definitely shot the ball well. You got to figure Max Strus ain't going 0 for 10 in the next one.
No.
He had 0 points. And that's, and obviously Butler, he's got to come up big. Like, he's got to be himmy. He's got to be the one who's got to say, I got a 40-pointer in me. I'm going to fill it up. You're not going to stop me. Screw Jokic. Screw Murray.
Right.
You know, I've got it. And obviously he has that ability to flip a switch or, you know,
That's coming.
or stare into the mirror and stare a hole through it and then beat the crap out of you. He's done it before. He's got to do it again in game 2. And then he said it after the game 2. By 2, I mean as well in game 1. He said it. They've got to be more aggressive. They had 2 free throws. That's the lowest free throws ever. By any by not finals, NBA playoff team.
Ever.
2 free throws, and they came from, by the way, Haywood Highsmith. Butler didn't go to the line.
And that's a team that lives at the line.
And who lives at the and who
Butler lives at the line.
That's the guy who lives at the line. He's the guy who can score double digits just by shooting free throws.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So they got to do that. They got to be aggressive.
And the stat, Rich, too. It's Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson, and Strus were a combined 2 for 23.
Yeah, that you know, I'm sure you as a Celtic fan, like, where were those guys? Where were that? Where were they? You know,
I thought Dwayne Wade was playing in this year. What happened? So frustrating.
And so the good news also for the Heat is the Nuggets didn't score a buck 24, 104, which is absolutely doable for Miami.
Yes. But
Miami,
that's doable.
Game, man.
That's doable. 104 is doable for Miami.
Garbage time. Miami was in the 80s.
No, I know that. I again, we're just looking at the numbers here.
Yeah.
And if I'm that might be a straw I'm grasping at, but you said, is it over? I can't sit here and say it's over, and that's an overreaction, and we're being overreactive in that. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.